Welcome back to the most unprofessional sports channel on YouTube. Welcome back to Swivel Chair Sports. I'm your host, Zach Zuckerberg Burkle, here with the coach today, Aaron. Go and say hi, Aaron.
Hello.
All right, in this video, first of all, we are back. It's been a while. Hello. Sorry for the delay if you've been waiting for another video from us. We've been busy. It's been the holiday season, you know, all that. New Year's, Christmas, whatever. You don't care. Anyways, in this video, we're going to be ranking all of the NFL playoff teams, all 14 of them, from 14 all the way up to 1, each giving our reason why each team is ranked where they're at. Hopefully you guys don't get too mad at us as we go through this list. So, without further ado.
Yeah, if you like our content, be sure to like and subscribe, leave a comment, let us know what you think.
All right, so starting off the 14th spot of the 2024-2025 NFL playoff power rankings. This was kind of a tough one. I had a different team originally, and then after doing some a little bit more digging on the statistical side of things, I did a little shifting around from my 10 to my 14. So now at my 14 spot, I've got the Los Angeles Rams. Just kind of sneaking in there late in the year. Clinched going into week 18, but clinched the division going into week 18, but it was really just a battle all season long for them. They started off really rough, injury-ridden. Those injuries kind of seemed to plague them all season long. Guys coming in and out of the lineup. Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua going down at various points of the year. Matt Stafford really having to, kind of put this team on his back at times. Offense was, serviceable. Defense wasn't that great. Both sides kind of barely stayed above water and were lucky to win a really bad division over there in the NFC West. Winning 10 games, but that's not that impressive these days. So got them at 14. They finished 17th in points allowed, 20th in points scored. They also, they don't turn the ball over too much, but they also don't take it away. They're about middle of the road there. So I don't think they're going to make it very far in the playoffs. Probably going to lose first round to a Vikings team that didn't look very good in Week 18. So maybe I take that back, and they could possibly put a fight up against the Vikings. But if the Vikings play up to their potential that we've seen all season long, I just don't see any way to make it past round 1. So
They beat the Vikings earlier in the season.
that is true.
Maybe
That is
they can do it
true.
again.
Very early.
For my 14, I too have a division winner. I got the Houston Texans at 14.
Oh wow.
It's unfortunate. They should be higher, but they're just so banged up in that receiving room. That O-line's not been great against the pass rush all year. So I think they're fighting and clawing, and they just barely held on to that division title. But man, they're in a rough spot going into these playoffs.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't have them too far up this list. At 13, I do have the Tampa Bay Bucks. Another team lucky to win their division this year to an extent. Just coming out there in the Week 18, came down to the very last week between them and the Falcons. Luckily, the Falcons lost, and so even if the Bucks had lost their game, it wouldn't have really mattered. So, good for them. Sneaking into the play. Actually, did the Falcons? No, the Falcons ended up winning in overtime, I think. But regardless, Bucks won their game, so it didn't matter. Bucks have been kind of middle of the road all year long on the defensive side of things. 16th in points allowed, 18th in yards allowed, 18th in takeaways, so they're not getting a lot of turnovers on the defensive side of the football. They're turning the ball over a lot on the offensive side of the football. 21st in turnovers, which is not great. Baker Mayfield has a tendency to throw up a lot of interceptions. However, also has a tendency to score a lot of points and move the ball down the field, finishing 4th in points scored and 3rd in yards accumulated. So this Bucks offense could end up being what kind of gets this team to the second round of the playoffs, similar to last year. But if that offense doesn't really play up to their potential, I could see the Commanders maybe sneaking out with a round 1 upset. But I do have the Bucks at 13. Kind of tough. Really, that defense is just not very good. And they turn the ball over a little too much for my liking. So
Yeah, I've got the Rams at 13. Just one of those sort of gritty, tough it out type of seasons. As per usual, pretty banged up there throughout the season. Kind of getting some key pieces back, but not necessarily one of those teams that you're super scared of. At least I wouldn't be going into their first playoff game.
Yeah. 12 Texans, same team you had at the bottom there. A very similar reason you have them at 14. I have them at 12. I'm a little bit more optimistic about their defensive side of the football specifically, though. They were pretty good at keeping teams from marching down the field. Did let them score a little bit, right around league average, but took the ball away at a pretty high level, fifth in takeaways this season. Offense has just kind of been stuck in neutral a large portion of the year, though. C.J. Stroud hasn't, kind of a little bit of a sophomore slump this year for him, but it doesn't help when, every single receiver he's had literally has been out for an extended period of time at some point this year. Nico Collins at the beginning of the season, Stephon Diggs from middle year onward, and then now Tank Dell's out for the year, so really sucks for him not having a consistent receiving core to throw to. Just really unfortunately not the Texans' year. And they loaded up this past offseason to kind of make it their year. Didn't really work out for them, unfortunately. So I think they're probably going to end up having to go back to the drawing board, have a really tough first-round matchup with the Chargers that I could see them losing. And even if they do come out with a victory there, then they have to go to Kansas City. Really tough matchup on the road. Team looking for a third straight Super Bowl win. So I just don't see much hope for the Texans this season in the playoffs, but definitely still a bright future. And I think maybe this offseason they correct a few of those mistakes they made this past year.
Yeah, 12. I got the Commanders. Super good season with probably as low as expectations were for them. I do think this is a great stepping stone for them. I just think you get into playoff football and it's it's going to be Jane Daniels' first taste of it. It's a step above, and you're gonna be facing teams that have a full season of tape on you at this point. So I don't know that they quite have a good enough team on really either side of the ball to be a real decent threat. They could sneak one out, but good starting point for the Commanders, I think, in this new sort of franchise.
Yeah, at 11, I have the Commanders. Echo a lot of what you just said. I think they're fortunate getting to play the Buccaneers in the first round. They actually have in my opinion, a pretty good shot at winning that game, finished with a better record than that team. So you would think they would be considered better. Do have a rookie quarterback, obviously a big factor there. Although that offense has been incredible all season long. Terry McLaurin has kind of cemented himself as a premier wide receiver in this league this season. They don't turn the ball over too awful much. Finished 8th in that category, which hopefully carries over to the playoffs. I think would be a big factor if it does, especially playing a Bucs team that tends to turn the ball over a lot in the first round. I think they could easily, maybe get a couple. However, their defense isn't very good at taking the ball away either. So, defense has gotten better as the years went on, but definitely still not up to the level you'd like to see heading into the playoffs. Big reason I have them this low is that defense, and then obviously the rookie quarterback situation. But like you said, great stepping stone for the future.
I got the Chargers at 11. They just have a tendency for that offense to stall out and be nothing. As good as that defense is, and then you got to be able to run the ball in the playoffs, especially, and then losing Dobbins earlier in the season, they weren't as effective at that since losing him. But why did you make that face?
I thought he was back. Yeah, he played last week.
Oh shit!
He played the last 2 weeks.
So they have both Gus Edwards and Dobbins?
I thought Edwards was
hurt. I thought one of them...
I thought Edwards got hurt. Yeah, Edwards got hurt.
It was Edwards. Okay.
I was like, I thought Dobbins was back, but okay, yeah, go on.
I just with both their injury history,
flipped them.
I figured...
It basically was back-to-back, so just like it has been every other year of their careers.
Yeah, so Gus Edwards being out, they never were quite as effective after that. So, um, gotta get a lot of production from those young receivers, Quentin Johnston and Ladd McConkey down there in LA.
Yeah, number 10, I have another AFC West team. I got the Broncos, which you seem to be a little higher on than me, which I'm kind of surprised about. Um, yeah, the reason I have them well, actually, you might have them at the same spot now that I think about it. I forgot I went first. The Broncos, reason I have them at 10. Honestly, I feel like I kind of wanted to put them higher than this. And only reason I didn't, rookie quarterback situation, and the just real lack of. Could you imagine if they still had Jerry Jeudy? First of all, like that would be nice right now. I'd imagine. If they had to trade away Jerry Jeudy, I don't know where this team would be. That'd be kind of scary, to be honest. And I probably have them a little bit higher. But lack of receiving options is obviously going to be a factor. Marvin Mims has really came onto the scene, though, as of late. And then, obviously, Cortland Sutton's been a stud all season long. Bo Nix, playing out of his mind right now, had an incredible second half against the Bengals, and then blew the fuck out of the Chiefs, blind and deaf backup players. So he's hot right now. Going into the playoffs, no better time to be that. Defense also playing out of their minds this year. 3rd in points allowed, 7th in yards allowed, and 7th in takeaways. So just great defense through and through from front 7 all the way to the secondary. I think they could put some real fear in the Bills first round. I don't think they're going to win. It'd be cool if they did. But I don't think they're going to win. I think they could maybe scare them a little bit, maybe even get out to a quick 10-0 lead, and everyone's like, what the fuck's going on? But the Bills probably end up coming back and then winning if that does happen. So I just don't think the Broncos have quite the experience yet to warrant putting them higher. But similar to the Commanders, hell of a stepping stone after, what we thought was not a great offseason, coming off a really bad year last season. And we just kind of thought this was going to be a throwaway year where the Broncos just kind of mailed it in and tanked for a high draft pick. Here they are in the playoffs, and against all odds, may even be a little feisty.
Yeah, I got the Broncos at 10 as well. I don't see them as a super big threat. They don't really have a lot of impressive wins this season. So I don't think that Bo Nix has played a lot of great defenses like he's going to in the playoffs.
Oh, the Bills aren't a great defense.
He sometimes has a tendency to, like another quarterback on this list, turn the ball over a little bit.
That's fair.
But this defense is no joke. They are very good. So they can be feisty. I wouldn't really expect too much of a fight against the Bills. That's just how much respect I have for Josh Allen and that offensive unit they've got up there. But yeah, I've got the Broncos at 10 as well.
Yeah, I think that's fair. The only reason I say they could get out to a fast start is because of the momentum they currently have after these last 6 quarters of football. So
I just don't think they have a good enough running game.
That's a good point. Yeah, Javonte Williams likes to just run into the back of his offensive lineman a lot. So as a fantasy owner, his back-to-back years. Number 9, got the Los Angeles Chargers. I got them one spot ahead of the Broncos. Big reason is a little bit more faith in the offense, and I think the defenses are pretty similar levels. 1st in points allowed, 7th in yards allowed, 11th in yards allowed, 13th in takeaways. So pretty similar as what I said about the Broncos defense earlier. A little bit better offense there with actually a little bit worse technically points scored and yards accumulated. But much better in the turnover department. Don't turn the ball over near the level the Broncos do, and I think that's going to be a big factor, especially playing a Texans team where all they can really do is take the ball away. They really have no other good aspect of their team right now that's on par with the rest of these teams in the playoffs. So Chargers should go in to a favorable matchup against Houston. I expect them to win that game and then go on to Kansas City, where who knows, in a division rivalry game, what could happen there? That's a little bit concerning as a Chiefs fan. I think this Chargers team is good. Not great, but good. Losing Gus Edwards hurts. having J.K. Dobbins back really, really helps mitigate that loss. Justin Herbert, if he's asked to do something, special, he's shown he's capable of doing that. That's scary if you're an opposing team, in my opinion. So I think that Justin Herbert
beating a Trevor Lawrence-led team that throws 4 picks in the first half.
No, okay, I'm not talking about just that. I'm talking about earlier this year, he has shown flashes when he had to of, putting the team on his back a little bit and making something happen, especially when Dobbins was out. So yeah, I think this Chargers team could pose a threat in the AFC. In my opinion, they're probably the 4th best team over in that conference after the, obvious top 3 in Chiefs, Buffalo, and Baltimore. So, or I guess, no, technically they're not because I have the next team is in the AFC. I really wanted to put them ahead of this other one, though. So go ahead, Aaron.
The Steelers.
Yeah.
You want to put them ahead of the Steelers. 9, I've got the Bucks. And it's solely because that offense, you want to talk about a roller coaster. They could score 40. They could score 20.
Yeah.
So if Baker doesn't throw 2 picks, then they're in a good spot. But if he does, and that offense sort of has trouble getting going, then they're probably in for a long day. So I got the Bucks at 9.
What's your opinion on the Mike Evans 1,000 yards situation? The debate that's going on.
He deserves it. He missed time. I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I don't care either. I think it's fine. I don't really care. People do that all the time. So for the most part, Saints, Panthers, and Falcons fans. A lot of Falcons fans. Oh my gosh, so many Falcons fans bitching about how it's not a real 1,000 yard. He's not a real 1,000 yard receiver. I think it's ridiculous.
To me, it's less about he got $3 million.
So
$2 million from that.
I'm pretty sure it boils down to a Julio Jones, Mike Evans debate in the NFC South years ago. I think that's where this whole hatred for Mike Evans in Atlanta comes from. I think it's Julio's better. Stop talking about Mike Evans.
Who cares?
Yeah,
Who cares?
I'm just saying. I think that's what it is. At number 8, I've got the Pittsburgh Steelers team. I really wanted to put under the Chargers, but couldn't justifiably do so. Large portion. They have a quarterback who's been there, done that. Russell Wilson's won a Super Bowl before. He's been to 2. Playing best football he has since his Seattle days. And that defense is really, really good still in Pittsburgh. So number 1 in takeaways, Steelers take the ball away more than any other team in the NFL. And they not only that, they keep the teams from scoring too. 8th in points allowed. Offense is pretty mid still. Still much improved unit from last year. Oh my gosh. But still pretty mid. 16th point score, 23rd in yards accumulated. 10th in turnovers though, so Russell Wilson's been pretty safe with the ball, all things considered. And I think he by no means are they going to beat the Ravens, I don't think. But I think out of the 3 wild card teams, they have the best chance of doing so because of that AFC North rivalry. Who knows? Lamar has struggled with the Steelers in the past, not so much this last game, but before then. Maybe the Steelers can play a little upset. Make a little upset happen here. So I got Pittsburgh at 8.
Yeah, I've got the Steelers at 8 as well. It's ever since Russ has, obviously left Seattle. When it comes to those crucial game time, big play situations, it seems like he's lost his edge more often than not. He either turns the ball over or takes a sack, just throws it away. So he's lost that thing that really made him special there in Seattle, the ability to extend the play and make the throw late in the game. So I don't have a whole lot of confidence in them in a close game. If they can jump out to a lead and that defense sort of go to work, then by all means they are as deadly as any of these other teams. But I don't necessarily see that happening.
Yeah. At 7, I got the Packers, and the only reason I have them this low is simply because Jordan Love has a tendency to, you mentioned this earlier, Aaron, throw costly interceptions. Boneheaded costly interceptions. Will Levis-esque interceptions at times. Maybe maybe not quite that bad.
That's
Yeah,
bad.
maybe not quite
That's
that
not
bad.
putting that.
Maybe not quite that bad. But yeah, outside of that, this team is fucking amazing. 6th in points allowed, 5th in yards allowed, 4th in takeaways, 8th in points scored, 5th in yards accumulated. Like, oh my goodness, this team like screams conference championship. At least, last 2 teams in the NFC. But they're a 7 seed for a reason. 2 reasons really. One reason being they had the Vikings and the Lions both win 14 plus games. That's a big reason. But also, they just turn the ball over a little bit too much and have been through some injuries throughout the year, specifically now Christian Watson out for the season with ACL.
Jair Alexander playing seemingly whenever he wants.
Yeah, Jair Alexander seemingly for the last 2 or 3 seasons now has just kind of played whenever he felt like it. So hopefully he feels like playing this.
He's the new Bakhtiari.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, there you go. Yeah, maybe there's something in the
part-time
water.
Player.
Yeah, maybe there's something in the water up there. But I want to put the Packers higher, man. I really do, because it looks like they should be. But there's some intangibles there that I'm just not fully sold on yet. And that's man, like the next team I bring up, and maybe even the next 2 teams I bring up, you could, in my opinion, justifiably put ahead of them. But I think because of the tendency to, I don't know, just let go of the rope, I guess. I'm a little bit more down on this team than I'd like to be.
I mean, that's totally justifiable. Loss to the Bears in an embarrassing fashion. Yeah. In Week 18.
And one that mattered. They would have got the 6th seed if they won.
Yeah. I've got the Packers at 7 as well. Josh Jacobs. That's just a great pickup for them. It's like a revamped running game. You just go from one great running back to the next. Yeah. Banged up. Sort
Aaron Jones just got hurt, so maybe the age on Aaron Jones is starting to show now at the end of the year.
Yeah, that wear and tear, it's no joke when you're the only running back.
Yeah.
Yeah, just sort of banged up there in the receiving room. The tendency to not jump out to a hot start, kind of get behind early against good teams. But that defense is scary.
Yeah.
That defense is real scary.
Yeah, that defense is good. Man, what a flip of the script for that defense from last year to this year, going from like bottom 10 in the league to top 6 and everything. Like, oh my goodness. At number 6 shows you how bad that fucking was it Joe Barry? Is that the old DC's name? Shows you how bad that guy was. Number 6, I got the Minnesota Vikings. They went 2-0 against the Packers this year. That's a big reason I have them ahead of the pack. Really the only reason I have them ahead of the pack, to be honest. A lot of what I said about the Packers kind of rings true for the Vikings in a way. They can be really good until they turn the ball over, and sometimes they do that a lot. A lot of fumbles, specifically. 17th in turnovers this year. That's not great. 2nd in takeaways, so that mitigates that a little bit. But the turnovers concern me, especially after watching Week 18 against the Lions and most important game of the season. And you guys literally played the worst football all year long that you guys have played. So that's a little worrisome. You still have Justin Jefferson, you still have Jordan Addison, still have TJ Hawkinson, maybe Aaron Jones. So you guys still have talent. Defense is still really good. But I worry that if the Rams punch you in the mouth, I don't know if you guys come back. So that's a big reason I got in this low. Along with the turnovers, I just don't see the Vikings as a legitimate Super Bowl contender.
Yeah, especially if Sam Darnold's out there seeing ghosts, they've got no shot.
Yeah.
Just like he was against the Lions there. Yeah, I've got the Vikings at 6. A receiving room with all the upside in the world. Mm-hmm. Great run defense. So if they jump out to a lead and make the other team to have to throw the ball, then they're in a great spot. It's a lot easier to defend the pass when you know the pass is coming.
Right.
But you get in some of those close knockdown drag out games, they haven't looked the best. So yeah, I've got the Vikings at 6 as well. I kind of view them the same way you do. Not super scared, but scary enough.
Yeah. They've got talent. It's just whether or not they play up to that talent.
There's a lot riding on a few key players.
Yeah. On the
Aaron Jones and Sam Darnold, specifically.
Which, if Aaron Jones is out, that's gonna be
That's a big loss.
Yeah, it's huge. Number 5, I got the Baltimore Ravens. Losing Zay Flowers, well, maybe losing. It's not official yet. He may be back for round 1 against the Steelers, but Zay Flowers could very likely be out against Pittsburgh round 1, which I think puts a concerning ceiling on the team for however long he's out. Now, he may be back as early as the second round. That's a whole different story. But if he's out for, the Bills game, that's probably going to be round 2. I don't see them making it past there. He's a huge part of that offense. Granted, they still have Derrick Henry, best running back in the league. They could just feed it to him 35 times, and they'll probably be fine. Definitely against the Steelers, I could see them being perfectly fine. Just giving Derrick Henry and maybe Lamar Jackson on some read options, or throwing it up to Mark Andrews or Rashad Bateman. They'll be fine against the Steelers. I'm not really too worried about that. But if Zay Flowers is out for the Bills, that's not going to be good. And it's going to be a big hindrance to them. I don't see them making it past Buffalo if that's the case. And that kind of puts a ceiling on this team going forward, in my opinion. So while their offense was incredible this year, 3rd point scored, first yards accumulated, keep getting that word fucked up, 3rd in turnovers. Defense really came around at the second half of the season. Still didn't get many takeaways, but got up to 9th in points allowed and 10th in yards allowed. So really turned the ship around on that side of the football. So they can play with anybody, but that Bills team is on another level if they have to go in there without Zay Flowers. So I got Baltimore 5.
Yeah, I've got Baltimore 5 as well. Zay Flowers really allows them to stretch the field, and without him, that offense, just loses that extra dimension that makes them super special. So yeah, obviously big worry. You hope to get him back for that Bills game, assuming they make it there.
Right.
But the defenses look better as of late. Yeah, they're definitely a scary team.
Yeah, no, they're every team we talk about from 5 up to 1 are Super Bowl, legitimate Super Bowl contenders in my eyes. So
yeah.
Number 4, we got the Detroit Lions, in my opinion. Maybe a little low for some people. The reason I have them at 4, though, they didn't play a super tough schedule, and that goes for the whole NFC North. They played each other, and that was about it. Like the Packers, the Vikings, and everybody else that the Lions played for the most part, outside of maybe the Eagles, were like pretty mid. Which I don't even know if they played the Eagles, but I digress. I'm not super 100% sold that they're the best team in the NFC. I think they're one of the best teams in the NFC, but I don't think they're the clear cut. I think there's one team right now, and obviously most people can probably make the assumption whose that is. I think one team in that conference is better than them. I think the other team's hotter. I think they've played stiffer competition. And most importantly,
healthier.
Do what?
Healthier.
They're healthier. That's a big one too. Yes. But most importantly, they've made it out of the NFC before. The same team, for the most part, I should say. Lions have yet to do that. The one time they had a chance to, they choked in embarrassing fashion last season to the 49ers. I could see that happening again. Until you get over that hump, you don't get over that hump. As a Chiefs fan, I can attest to that because we ran into that hump a million fucking times until we finally got over it with Mahomes. So until you get over that hump, you don't get over that hump. The other team's gotten over that hump. So with the same staff, same players, same quarterback, and a worse running game. So yeah, Lions at 4, but obviously still a legitimate threat to win the Super Bowl. I don't want to say they're not.
I'm flip-flopping on my 3 and 4. They're like tied for me.
Okay.
I can make a case either way.
Okay.
I'm going to put the Kansas City Chiefs at 4.
You bitch. You bitch. Okay.
Let's start with the defense. Been banged up, both sides of the ball all year, but especially that secondary for the Chiefs. Lost Jalen Watson early. That hurt. Then just kind of rotating guys in and out from there with injuries and not playing well. And when you have to rely on your secondary to get stops because you can't get pressure with rushing just 4, unless the other team screws up their blocking assignments, then that's really tough to win games like that. Still an elite rush defense, but that secondary does worry me. Offense, again, banged up, especially the receiving corps all year.
They're back.
Tackles terrify me. It's not been great tackle play. I would love to have Tooney play guard. I don't know if that will be possible for this playoff run. He might have to play tackle.
DJ Humphries didn't look good.
So no. So we've got to figure out tackle play. Good things. Good running attack. Got both our running backs healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Getting some key receivers back. D-Hop can now play unlimited snaps because we don't have to worry about giving the Titans a 4th round pick instead of a 5th. Hollywood Brown back, healthy.
I didn't realize was that really why we hadn't been playing D-Hop that much? I didn't know. Was it a snap thing?
It didn't cross my mind, but I saw a post that something about playing like less than 55% of the snaps.
Oh shit! So maybe
that.
It was then.
Yeah, maybe.
That's funny. Okay.
So yeah, I've got my worries about the Chiefs, which is why I have them at 4. But they could easily go on a tear here.
Yeah, I mean, everything you said is fair. From a Chiefs fan, I'm a little disappointed in you, but that's okay. I'll talk about.
I'm not doing this as a Chiefs fan. I'm doing this as an unbiased.
That's fair.
Observer.
No, that's. I understand. I'll save for my.
We all know where they are for you.
Yeah, I'll save my pushback for whenever. At number 3, this one's probably gonna surprise some people that I have this team at 3 and not the other team that most people are assuming I have at 3. I got the Bills at 3. Big reason, I just don't have as much faith in that defense as I do the other 2 teams ahead of them. They do have Josh Allen, who very likely could win MVP. I don't know. It's kind of between him and Lamar for MVP. I'm not going to get into that debate right now. Y'all kill each other over that. I don't care. Not my fight. Mahomes ain't in it. I don't care. As far as Eagles go, or as far as the Bills go, though, yeah, offense is incredible. 2nd in points scored, 10th in yards. 1st in turnovers, so they don't turn the ball over at all. They also take the ball over at a high level on the defensive side, 3rd in takeaways. But they're only 11th in points allowed, which, I mean, 11th is still pretty good. Top 11 in the league is still pretty good. I don't want to say they're a bad defense, but if you look at everybody else I have in the top 10, they are the only one that is bottom 20, what was that, 22? Bottom 22 in points allowed. The only other teams on this whole playoffs that were double digits in points allowed were the Commanders, Texans, Bucks, and Rams. The bottom 4 on my list. So I'm a little less optimistic about the Bills mainly because of that defense. I think they're a little vulnerable on that side of the football. Offense obviously makes up for a lot of those mistakes. Josh Allen, one of the best quarterbacks in the league. So he could very easily just carry this team to a Super Bowl win. He has that. He is that good. I don't want to say he's not that good. Especially this team. This team is a very good team outside of just him. They're not, world beaters by any means, but they're a good team. They have good talent. I just have a little bit of concern about that defense is all. They let up a lot of yards as well. They let teams march down the field on them, and then luckily they just take the ball away more often than not. So if they struggle to get turnovers on the defensive side of the football, I could see them struggling, especially against, Bo Nix has a tendency to throw interceptions, but let's say you face a fully healthy Ravens team in the second round, third in the league in turnovers. They're probably not going to turn the ball over very much, and they beat the dog shit out of you earlier this year. I have a little bit of concerns there if I'm the Bills. So
yeah, I've got Buffalo at 3.
Oh, okay. I thought you'd have them at 2.
Yeah, there's an argument, but defense again, big worries. These my top 2 teams have, 2 of the best defenses in the league.
Mm-hmm.
My only argument for putting Buffalo over the Chiefs would be their offensive line.
Okay, that's fair.
Better than KC. And I would say, and you're gonna disagree so hard with this, Josh Allen's play style lends him to be more able to carry a team than Patrick Mahomes' play style. Josh Allen is able to, he's a more dynamic runner. He will, jump over people, rush through 3 guys to get a first down. Whereas Mahomes uses his legs more to buy time, and sure, he'll get the occasional scramble for a first down and whatnot, but he's not the dynamic runner that Josh Allen is. He relies more on his receivers to make plays for him. So that is my only argument, and I'm not saying that Josh Allen is a better quarterback than Patrick Mahomes. That I'm just saying that his legs give him more of an opportunity with a worse team to go out and win than Patrick Mahomes does.
Okay, I'm going to take a very, mature, for my standards, I'm going to take a very mature approach to this and try to actually provide some substance to the other side of the argument. In my opinion, while a lot of what you said was true, Josh Allen's play style lends itself a lot more so to being, carrying a team with the running ability and stuff like that he has. But we saw earlier this year, 3 rushing touchdowns and 3 passing touchdowns in the same fucking game. Never been done before. I also think, and we've seen this, maybe not this year, as, evidenced with first in the league in turnovers, we've seen, specifically in the playoffs against the Chiefs, where
totally capable of imploding.
He has a tendency to do too much.
Mm-hmm.
And that costs him. Whereas Mahomes seems to do just enough every time. He knows when to do just enough. So that's my only argument. I was trying not to be a, no, Mahomes is better. I was trying not to be that caveman. And actually provide some sort of substance to the argument. I don't really have any numbers to back that up, unfortunately, because I wasn't expecting, to get into this conversation. I'm sure if I wanted to, I could go back and find it, but it would take a lot of digging, a lot of film watching. Well, really, probably just like 3 or 4 games worth of film watching that I just don't want to do. I just know, having watched them, at least my recollection is he has a tendency to do too much, and that can sometimes get him into trouble, whereas Mahomes, at least from what I can think of, has never lost because he's tried to do well, other than maybe the Bengals game in 2021.
Bengals game, yeah.
Other than maybe that. I have never, since then, seen him in a playoff game do too much and lose the game. Try to do too much and lose the game. Because he hasn't lost since then. Number 2, I got the Eagles. Second in points allowed, first in yards allowed, sixth in takeaways. You could probably safely say they're the best defense in the league this year. Seventh in points scored, eighth in yards, sixth in turnovers on the offensive side of the football. So also easily top 10, if not arguably top 5 offense. They're also, in my opinion, the hottest team in the league. Saquon Barkley is the hottest player in the league right now. He literally a walking ball of fire. If you touch him, you will burn. Put the ball in his hands, and he might run for 250 yards against, the Rano. Who they're playing? The 7 seed. Who the fuck is the 7 seed? Packers. Well, maybe not. That defense is pretty good, so maybe not. But no, I think the Eagles, maybe not far and away the best team in the NFC, but I definitely think they have a very fair, very, very good case for being the best team in the league. Lions, if you look at their strength of schedule, got to beat up on some bad teams this year, whereas the Eagles, I believe, have a higher strength of schedule. I know that the Giants have a pretty high strength of schedule despite, being terrible, so I'd imagine they played similar teams, so the Eagles should be up there. And, this Eagles team scares me more than any other team in the NFC, probably because we almost lost to them just a couple of years ago, and they just got better since then. Defense is better than then. Running game's better than then. Jalen Hurts is better than then. So, if the Chiefs meet him in the Super Bowl, I'm probably going to be a little worried. But, I still think we're better. Just because I'm a fan.
Yeah, I've got the Lions at 2.
Okay. So you think the Eagles are the best? I think that's fair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big news that Montgomery's not going to go on IR. He should be available for their playoff game. So having their Sonic and Knuckles duo in that backfield, that's really huge for them. One big concern. Real banged up on defense.
Yeah.
Had to bring in some guys for that D line. Yeah. And really have kind of struggled in the pass rush game. Now, it was a completely different story against the Vikings last game, but they also blitzed more than they had at any other point in the season against the Vikings. So
I think that was game plan related. I think that was specifically for the Vikings.
So if they have to bring consistent pressure to affect the quarterback, then you game plan for that as a quarterback and as the opposing team.
Didn't they just lose another? Speaking of cornerback, didn't they just lose another DB this past game? Kirby Joseph, maybe, was that his name?
Yeah, I didn't hear a final saying on that. I don't know how long he'll be out. But yeah, that could be another big loss as well. But they're riding hot. That offense is has as dominant of an O-line as damn near anybody in the league. So I've got the Lions at 2.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about the injury. So maybe he's fine. I hope he's fine. But that brings us to number 1. I've got the reigning, defending, back-to-back Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs going for the three-peat this year. A lot of the reason I have them at 1 is, you kind of heard me say it all right there. They're back-to-back Super Bowl champions with a chance to three-peat. They just won 15 games. They still have the best quarterback in the league, best head coach in the league, best tight end in the league. It's a lot of stuff that it's kind of hard to deny unless you're just a flat-out hater, which there are a lot of people out there right now that, call the Chiefs pussies for sitting all their starters in Week 18 to avoid the Bengals. When it was, that's clearly what we did. We were scared of the Bengals. We didn't want to play. Oh no, we didn't want to play them in the AFC Championship game 4 weeks away. If you got there, shut the fuck up. Anyways,
for already having the 1 seed locked up, let's just go out and
what are you, fucking stupid? No. Anyways, So the Chiefs, pretty good on defense, not quite what they were last year, but not too far off. I mean, I think they only let up like extra 1, maybe 1.5 points per game from last year when they were tops in the league in points allowed, I believe. This year going 4th in points allowed, 9th in yards allowed, 14th in takeaways. Still don't turn the ball, or still don't force turnovers very much, which is the complete opposite of what we used to be. I don't understand. We went from bend, don't break, well, bend and break, but at least you got some turnovers, to don't bend, don't break, but also don't make sure you don't get any interceptions or fumble recoveries for some reason. So, yeah, I mean, I think the defense is... despite your concerns about the defense, specifically the secondary, I understand, and the pass rush, but with the pass rush with only 4. When we bring more than 4, we're a little bit more successful. But I have a lot of faith that the defense is going to be fine. Offense is really going to be the side of the football where we turn it up a notch from the regular season. We went 15th. We were right middle of the league. 15th in points scored, 16th in yards. We didn't turn the ball over very much, only 4th in that category, so that's good. But by no means were we running it up on teams. I think a lot of that was, maybe taking a little easy in the regular season because we can. I don't think that's a cocky thing to say. I think that's just objectively what happened. I don't think the Chiefs played as hard as they probably could have in every game this year. They probably let a couple games get a little closer than they needed to be. Andy Reid probably held his cards a little closer to the vest than was necessary. But here we are. Now he's going to really open the playbook up, and hopefully Mahomes lets her eat. All the wide receivers are back outside of Rashee Rice. I'm ready to go, man. Like I said it earlier, more confident than I have been since before we lost to the Bengals in this team, going on to win a Super Bowl. More confident than last year, more confident than the year before that, even. With all the close games that we've played this year, came out on top end. I mean, we have been through it. We've been through all the ups and downs, and we don't look like we have. People would think, oh, they haven't been through all the ups and downs. They've won 15 games this year. It's been all sunshines and rainbows, unicorns and dog shit. I don't know. Yeah, no, it's been a nerve-wracking season for Chiefs fans, despite the record. Every single game came down to the wire, and that just builds the calluses up for the playoffs. And here we are. We're going to let it all hang out. We're going to, slap our nuts on the tops of these fuckers' heads. And we're going to go on and win our 3rd straight Super Bowl. So,
I wish I had as much confidence as you do. I really do. Yeah, I've got the Eagles at 1. The big thing for them, those young DBs really came through this season. They really, obviously, I haven't heard any news on Hurts coming back from that clearing concussion protocol yet. I know he was still kind of up in the air earlier, but the sooner you get him back, the better. Not like it really matters. You just hand Saquon the ball off.
Yeah.
25, 30 times a game, and you're in good shape.
Maybe just make him your quarterback. I bet he could throw it. All he's got to do is make sure it gets into the hands of A.J. Brown and or Devontae Smith. So.
Yeah, and even if Hurts isn't available, you got 2 of the best receivers in the league. Yeah. So, and can never discount having Big Dom over there on the sidelines.
Oh fuck
so
yeah!
I got the Eagles at 1.
Oh yeah, Big Dom gonna take them all the way. No, I am really worried we're gonna get another Chiefs-Eagles Super Bowl, because the only reason I say I'm worried about that is because the Eagles are probably the team I'm most scared of out of all of these others, just because of the dynamic. I mean, I think we forget. At least I forgot up until like the season kind of progressed, because it's been kind of quiet over there on the Philly front most of the year. I forgot
how them yelling for Sirianni to be fired.
Well, yeah, but that was a weird. Looking back, what the fuck? Y'all won 14 games. What the fuck? Anyway, I forgot this team's like really good. Like,
yeah,
they won 11 straight games to start last season, and here they are. They just won 14. Like this team's no joke. They're the second seed in the NFC. I feel like a lot of people are sleeping on them and forgetting about them because they're not the Lions, or they're not like what the Vikings, came out of nowhere this year, or the Commanders who weren't supposed to be good. I feel like we all just forgot the Eagles existed, and now here they are, ready to kick everyone's ass, just like 2022. And I mean they're a scary team. They're a scary team.
Line is just as good as it's been. So
yeah. But unless you got anything else, I think that'll do it for this episode of the most unprofessional sports channel on YouTube, Swivel Chair Sports. I've been your host, Zach Zuckerberg here with the coast today. Aaron, go say bye, Aaron.
see ya.
All right, please make sure to like and subscribe if you made it this far into the video and enjoy our content. Make sure to leave a comment down below who you think is the best team heading into the NFL playoffs and why it is the Kansas City Chiefs. And other than that, deuces. Have a good day.